The class that I created is Religion 207, and it's Religion and Video Games. That's the course. So I think there's a natural affinity between the library and mindful and critical play of video games and religion. So I think there's a natural affinity. When I look for partners in the university, this is where I started. The question I ended up with was why play religion, video games in the library? That was the question. You know, again, that's kind of the question for the talk. And then it's a little bit more complicated because it's why play video games and religion in the library, right? So I went back to the library mission statement, right? So the university's libraries advance and support learning, research, and service at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro and throughout the state of North Carolina. How does this fit into North Carolina? We're a public institution. The General Assembly shall provide the benefits of the University of North Carolina and other public institutions of higher education as far as practicable be extended to the people of the state free of expense. So public higher education is guaranteed by the Constitution of North Carolina. And just around this, it talks about libraries and how they fit into. So libraries, higher education is part of the mission not just of the university, but is the mission of North Carolina and it's a mandate of North Carolina. So I think one of the things about technology is this notion that the more is better, and I don't agree with that actually, right? So I mean, again, I want to approach the stuff mindfully and critically, right? And think about why we have these things. This is John Dewey. Critical thinking is a habit of mind characterized by the comprehensive exploration of issues, ideas, artifacts, and events before accepting or formulating an opinion or conclusion. So for me, critical thinking isn't about just a diversity of ideas. It's being able to hold a number of ideas in your head at the same time and not necessarily rush to judgment about them, right? If you can hold conflicting ideas and understand why they may exist, that for me is real good critical thinking. We talk about religion as a category. We talk about popular culture as a category, and this is using the games, and we talk about play as a category and how they fit into the games. Also, I'm interested in multiliteracies. The first is a variable of meaning making in different cultural, social, or domain-specific contents. So I'm interested in trying to get students to think about what things mean in different cultural spaces. And then also, and this is what's really fun about the course, is the second is the aspect of language use today arises in part from the characteristics of the new information and communications media. So one of the things I really do in this classroom is I get them to write a paper, then they make a video about that same thing, then they make a website, then they make a poster session, then they make a PowerPoint, then they present it, right? And so one of the things we're trying to do is to get them to think critically about how information changes across these different multiliteracies. Teaching is not just about giving kids information, it's thinking, how do you think mindfully and critically about that information they're given? And for me, that means what's the historic and social context in which you get these, right? And what's the semantic domain you get these in? I'm not just giving kids information, I'm giving them a set of skills and knowledges for dealing with the contemporary society. And for me, I think this is not just some high hope. This is actually necessary because if you're training for just one job, that job might not be there in 5 years, right? But if you train people how to think, and you train them how to problem solve, and you train them how to communicate, how to use information, how to use media, they'll be able to get a job no matter where they go.